Hello and welcome to my workshop. My name is Chris Pine. Time with Pine number 5 for the year 2015. How about that Super Bowl, huh? What in the world, man? Seattle, all they had to do is run it in. Run it in the end zone. They could have done it. I'm telling you, 2 shots at it, they'd have been in the end zone. What do I know? I really didn't have a vested interest either team. I don't really care about either one of them. So ended up being an interesting game nonetheless. Bathroom cabinet, the latest project I did, and obviously I shared in the beginning is from some salvaged wood from a shelf, and I didn't bring the piece I had left over. Oh yeah, I did. Here it is. This is pine, and this is some rarely big wood, and as I planed it down and revealed what was underneath, this was a single width. It's just shy of 12 inches wide. So these were some very wide pine boards. I almost felt kind of bad using it, re-ripping it and cutting it up, but it would have ended up in a landfill anyway had I not saved it. So it was going to be put to good use here in our home. I got this piece left over. I think I might be making a push stick with that for my jointer, but we'll see. The jig I used for pinholes, no one really asked about that specifically, but you can make these jigs. Many people have done different forms of a pinhole. Shelf pinhole jig that uses these kind of fasteners. I'm sure you're familiar with spoon shelf supports, they're called. And these are 1/4 inch ones. So you have this bit with the spring-loaded drill bit that goes to a certain depth, and then of course your jig here. This one I bought years ago from Rockler, and of course, like I said, it has the 1/4 inch indexing holes in it. I've seen people make this out of pegboard. I've seen people make jigs that go on their drill press to do the very same thing. So there's lots of ways to skin that cat as far as making these holes in the wood for the shelves to be adjustable inside the cabinet. I really like doing this. I use this jig a lot when I'm building cabinets. Over the years, goodness, I don't know how many times, but a bunch I've used it, and it works really well. Someone asked about the piece of wood that I glued on the inside of the cabinet, on the top of the back. I nailed it in as well. And they answered their question when they asked it. They asked if that was to hang the cabinet, and that's exactly what that's for. I use deck screws myself. I usually try to go about 1.5 at least, sometimes 2-inch deck screws depending on what I'm going through as far as the thickness of the cabinet, just so you get into that stud really well. It works great. My kitchen cabinets that hold, goodness, a lot of weight are hung with those type of screws, and they hold just fine. So that's what that was for. What else? The use of pocket holes. For cabinets, man, I am telling you, cabinets are built, the use of pocket holes for cabinets was what I believe that joint was created for. It's a perfect use for that joint. As you saw, I even, of course, assembled the face frame, but I also adhered the box to the face frame with pocket holes. I did conceal, I didn't show it in the video, but I did conceal the visible side of that cabinet with a piece of 1/4 inch plywood I glued over the top of the pocket holes and then painted it over so you don't see them there. As far as the top and bottom, does anybody really look at the top and bottom of a cabinet? It's hanging on the wall. Do you look down underneath or go up on top and look? No. I've made many cabinets that way, and no one ever says anything about the pocket holes. So I've seen others. I know April Wilkerson has concealed those with putty or spackling, whatever, if it's a painted project. And sure, whatever works. You can certainly do that and paint right over them. I love pocket holes for cabinetry. It's just it's a go-to joint for me, the use of pocket hole joinery. I got a replacement part for my finish sander. I recently noticed that the pad on my finish sander was pretty worn out. I mean, the foam's cracking and it's thinning, and you can definitely notice when you're using it that it's just worn out, the base pad. So I went to, in this case, eBay I found a new one, about $10 including shipping, and I have the new one here. Came to me. So I'm going to change this out today. Hopefully everything underneath this is good. The 4 screws are a star bit shape. However, they have a slot on them. I don't know if you can see a straight slot as well. If you didn't have the star bit, you could use a straight slotted screwdriver, it looks like, to take these off. And there's the old one. A little dust in there. If you need to, you can replace, whoops, I'll have to get that put back in. But you can replace anything under here. Let's take a look and see what's going on in here. A little felt seal there. It looks like everything's okay. I'll clean it up and then I'll put the new one on. I'm not going to go any further than that. I've got everything cleaned off, back lined up again. These springs for holding the sandpaper just sit in this assembly in this fashion. And then I can just put this, it's all cleaned up, put this back on top here. Okay. There we go. Okay. Some sandpaper here, let's give that a try. Good as new. Thanks so much for watching Time with Pine this week. I really do appreciate it. Since I created my new channel for this, I've got about half as many views as I did before. So we'll see how it goes. Hopefully they'll make their way over here eventually. If you're not subscribed to my other channel, which I can't hardly believe you aren't, you probably came to this channel from that channel, but if you're not, I would welcome you to subscribe not only to this channel, Time with Pine, but to my other channel, the Chris Pine Workshop. I'll put links in the description below. Thank you all so much for your support and your kindness and your friendship. I really do appreciate it. Have a great week. We'll see you next time. God bless. We're going to go with slab doors. I've never made a cabinet with slab doors before, but I had the material, and the width of the material that I had was wide enough to use it for the doors. So that's what we're going to do. I'll maybe do a round over on the front